was younger, I saw my daddy cry and curse at the wind. He broke his own heart, and I watched as he tried to reassemble it. And my mama swore that she would never let herself forget. And that was the day that I promised I'd never sing of love if it does not exist. Darling, you are the only exception. 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 Maybe I felt somewhere deep in my soul that love never lasts, and we've got to find other ways to make it alone or keep a straight face. And I've always lived like this, keeping a comfortable distance. And up until now I've sworn to myself that I'm content with loneliness, because none of it was ever worth the risk. Well, you are the only exception. 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 I've got a tight grip on reality, but I can't let go of what's in front of me here. I know you'll be here in the morning when I wake up. Show me some kind of proof it's not a dream. Whoa, You are the only exception. 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 And I'm on my way to believing. Oh, and I'm on my way to believing.
Welcome to this week's Sunday service meditation. Let's begin by closing our eyes and taking a few slow, deep breaths. Gently allow your attention to drop down into your heart. Connecting with your heart means you can connect with how you feel. Your feelings are what will show you the way forward on your spiritual journey. Now, let's breathe in deep compassion into your heart space. Have compassion for yourself, for whatever you've been through to get where you are today. Give yourself permission to surrender into God's flow here. God is guiding you perfectly in every moment. Connect with deep and loving self-acceptance. Choosing all of God, choosing all of yourself. Recognizing that all of love is within you in every moment. You are safe. You are loved. gently bring your focus back into the room and to the awareness of this eternal moment now.
Hello everyone, my name is Roxanne and I will be doing the card reading for today's Sunday service. So the oracle cards that I will be pulling from is The Power of Surrender cards by Judith Orloff. So I've already pre-shuffled the cards and I've pulled 3, so here we go. The first one is Surrender to Divine Timing. Sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. So yeah, I feel like this card is basically just saying like there's a divine order to everything that's happening in your union, on your twin flame journey, you know, in your dreams coming true. And sometimes things don't unfold the way that we had planned. There can be some things that arise in on our journeys that were like, we didn't expect that to come up. But it's important to know that there's a purpose as to why you're being, you know, brought into these situations or having these experiences, because there's something in there that is meant to, you know, help your soul grow and learn some lessons that are important for you to learn in order to, you know, arrive at your destination, whether that's harmonious union or, you know, growing into your life purpose or having a family, whatever that is or your goal is. It's safe to surrender to the order and the timing that God has for you, because there's always a purpose as to why you're being, you know, brought into these places that might be scary, that might be, you know, like uncomfortable to move through, but God has you and God will always bring you through it, no matter how long it takes, no matter how dark it might seem. God always has you. So the next card is Surrender to the Beauty of the Natural World. Take a relaxing break and spend time in nature. Replenish yourself by feeling the beauty and the ecstasy there. Yeah, I feel like this kind of goes, you know, hand in hand with the last card, and it's just about, like, it's important to also surrender to the journey and really enjoy like the beauty that's surrounding you, and like knowing that, you know, your joy is in the present moment. Your joy is right here, right now, and it's not outside of you. And I also feel like this could be like actually taking the time to like enjoy nature, because I know a lot of people can find like sanctuary in being outside and surrounded by, you know, nature and animals. So yeah, this could just be like kind of a message for you to step back and, you know, make sure that you're grounding all of your healing as well, and recognize like that you're already surrounded by everything that you need right now, and that you have everything that you need within you already. And the last card is Surrender to Trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. Yeah, this is a very beautiful card. There's like a little girl just kind of kneeling down and sort of praying and looking up almost at God. And, you know, this is kind of like you, you know, having to surrender and trust that God, you know, God is taking care of you in each and every moment, and that even if things, you know, don't always seem like they're working out, or they don't always feel like they're going in the direction that you want them to go, like trusting that God has a plan for you and trusting that, you know, you are actually headed in the right direction. And I know that like something that I've always had to move through on my journey is like sometimes, you know, other people like won't really understand my journey, and if I was basing myself off of what others were saying or feeling about it, like I might not feel confident to move forward. So I feel like it's about like really looking up at God and knowing that as long as you take the steps that He's showing you, even if it's different than what people usually do, that like you are doing the right thing. As long as you're following your heart and that you're choosing love in every situation, then that means that you are on the right path. And just keep going, and you will have like everything that you desire once you move through all of these obstacles and challenges that you're having to face. So yeah, I feel like that is all for today's card reading. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you enjoy the rest of the sermon.
Hi, my name is Deanna, and today I have the privilege of introducing Executive Ministers Adam and Brienne and their powerful sermon on the Cave of Fear. This is such a juicy subject, and I feel that Adam and Brienne do a really great job of going deep into the topic and sharing their own personal examples of their caves of fear that they had to overcome in order to achieve and maintain their harmonious twin flame union. And as they will share in greater detail, your cave of fear is basically that deepest, darkest fear that comes up to the surface prior to you achieving your harmonious twin flame union. So basically, for a lot of us, it's that thing that we kind of suppress or deny, or that thing that we don't really want to look at because it's really uncomfortable. Right. And for some of us, it's that fear that we may not even be aware is there until we're aware that it's there, right? Through healing and allowing these things to come up to the surface. So what really stands out for me when it comes to fear is that a lot of the times the thing that we fear the most is what we desire the most. And, why is that? Why is it that what we are called to do and what we desire to do and be triggers the most fear in us? Why is that person who is designed to be a leader, who is called to be a leader, why is it that some of them are the ones who experience the most fear around leadership and stepping out and putting themselves out there? Or when it comes to harmonious twin flame union, why is it that we desire our twin flame, but we still have that fear of actually being with them? Or we get a text message from them and our heart stops and our heart starts pounding or something like that. And you can just feel the fear there because it's not a peaceful feeling, it's an anxious feeling. Why does that happen? And as Adam and Brienne will share, a lot of it has to do with our limiting beliefs and personal experiences that we may have had growing up that kind of formed our view on whatever it is that we desire. And for me, this sermon comes right on time because I've kind of been chipping away at my own cave of fear to harmonious union. And it has a lot to do with growing up and seeing like my main example of what marriage was, seeing it as like, your typical toxic relationship, right? And I was just kind of working on this in a session recently where my coaches asked me, They're like, what would it feel like for you to be in harmonious union with your twin flame? And my first answer was, it would feel peaceful. It would feel good. And they're like, okay, go deeper, right? Because there's a reason that it's not manifesting in the physical. So as I went deeper, what came up for me was like memories of marriages that I had witnessed growing up, and seeing and witnessing the infidelity, the fights, the arguments, the yelling, the screaming, the crying, and being such a young child, seeing all of that, all I kind of put together was marriage and union means pain and suffering. Love means pain and suffering, right? This is what as a child, this is kind of what I put together in my mind. And as that awareness came up to the surface, I'm like, okay, oh my goodness, like this is what I believe will happen in my union. I believe that it's going to result in pain and yelling and arguing and screaming, and there's going to be infidelity, and there's going to be abandonment, and there's just going to be so much pain. Like it hurts to love, right? Is a limiting belief there. And like for me, this is what I am moving through in order to manifest my harmonious union, because of course there's fear there, or there was fear there before healing this, right? Because subconsciously, this is what I saw union as. Yes, on the surface, I know union to be peaceful and loving and to be in union with God. Like on the surface, I understand the teachings of union, but deep down, I still had these memories playing in the back of my mind, and that's what was causing the fear. So it's really about bringing awareness to those past experiences, recognizing that there's a part of you that's still believing these things to be true, and bringing real truth there, bringing God into those spaces, and recognizing, like for me, hey, I don't have to continue that same pattern. Marriage doesn't have to mean pain for me. Marriage doesn't have to mean abandonment. Love doesn't have to be painful for me. I can make a new choice here, right? A new choice that's grounded in God, in peace, in actual love and truth. I can forge a new path here. I don't have to repeat those same patterns, and I don't have to be afraid of my union. So this sermon just comes right on time for me. And as Adam and Brienne will share, um, yes, we all have to go through our own personal caves of fear, but you don't have to do it alone, right? There's support. We have the teachings of union. We have Twin Flame Ascension School. We have Life Purpose class. There's so much support around us. And yes, it can feel scary remembering all of these experiences and having to face those fears. But we don't have to do it alone. And there are so many of us who have already forged the path, right? And all we have to do is claim our support there and surrender to God. So that's my piece on the Cave of Fear. And like I mentioned before, Adam and Brienne do such a great job of diving deep into this topic and sharing how they overcame their own personal caves of fear and how they achieved and are maintaining their harmonious twin flame union. So before we dive into the sermon, I do want to encourage you to donate and tithe to the Church of Union. Your donations are what allow us to continue to produce these sermons and share the teachings of union across the world. It is my privilege and honor to introduce Executive Ministers Adam and Brienne. Enjoy the sermon.
Hello, we're Adam and Brianne. We're Executive Ministers of Union. We'll be giving you your sermon today about the Cave of Fear. But first, we'll do the opening ohms and the opening prayer. So follow along in your heart or out loud. And now for our opening prayer. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I'll always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice, I will only accept His word.
Today, I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Amen. Welcome back.
Good.
So today we would like to start with a quote to kick off the sermon. Yeah, would you like to share the quote?
I will share the quote. It's from Jeff and Shaleia. It says, "To conquer your deepest fear, it is the last thing you need to do to get into harmonious twin flame union."
Yeah. So as the teachings of union has taught us and shows us, is that what the quote just said is that you're going to encounter a cave of fear, prior to your harmonious twin flame union. And this cave of fear is going to be your deepest, as Shaleia says, your deepest, darkest fear, the thing that you just don't want to face, you just don't want to look at. And so we want to share with you our cave of fear, and not only as it led into our harmonious twin flame union, but how we're experiencing other, I guess you could say, cave of fears in other areas of our lives, mainly speaking towards our abundance and our finances. And we're going to shed some insights in our healing and what we've really identified there for, to help everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
So our cave of fear leading up to harmonious twin flame union. You want to share a little bit about that?
Abandonment.
That in a nutshell, abandonment. Yeah. How did that like play out for you on your end?
Well, it lasted I would say couple of months there, 3 months maybe. We had kind of like stopped talking there for a while. It was the fall of 2019. And it was just, I felt like so alone in the world. I never felt this alone. It felt like the world up and left, basically. And I was still doing the work. I was still, receiving coaching. But it is during that time, I felt like I couldn't get any traction on my healing at all. It was like I would heal and, okay, that feels good. But then immediately I would go back to feeling bad. It was just like a endless feeling bad. Like, oh my gosh, is this gonna ever end? But it did. Just
it did. Yeah.
But but during that time, I wasn't. It was a long period of time where I was just like in that hole, which I had to really work to get myself out of that hole. And what I had to do when I came to that conclusion, like I have to do something. And the only thing that worked for me was to listening to anything that was mentioning God. And so I listened to a lot of Joel Osteen sermons in those days, actually. Like anything like that would be like, supportive to that. And I had to like just figure out, okay, what can I do to feel good? It's kind of like what we talk about is, romance attraction and these things, right? Like the e-course, and really, how can I enjoy my life even though doesn't look so great on the outside, and really like focusing on those things. And that was what I had to do. And then I would, slowly come into a place where I got traction and feeling good. I got some momentum in it. Oh, Lord have mercy. That was very nice. So, and the more I did that, suddenly, harmonious union fell into my lap.
Fell into your lap.
It was, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Felt like, but that took work. Yeah.
Yeah, on my end, I was having all of these irrational thoughts. I was afraid that one if my twin flame dies, or what if it just doesn't happen, for me? What if I'm abandoned forever? And as I believe it's a page 88 in Twin Flames Finding Your Ultimate Lover. It goes very in depth. Jeff and Shaleia talk about abandonment. And it's basically, this might have been in a video as well, but it talks about you can only experience abandonment if you're abandoning yourself. And so she goes on to say, if you're not choosing and claiming your twin flame in all areas of your life, you're going to experience that abandonment being mirrored back to you. So yeah, in my cave of fear, same as yours, as I remember the pivotal moment when I healed that, and it was a very scary place to explore within me. But I remain unattached. I love myself and come out on the other side. And just as Adam said, harmonious twin flame union was right there, right on the back end of it, waiting to greet us. It just fell into our lap.
Yeah. Well, we did the work for it.
Well, we did.
It wasn't just like, okay, that was it, and then
there was a lot of inner work leading up to that, moment. Yes.
Yeah.
And so, segueing into, like we were talking about, finances and abundance. So this has been something that we've really been digging deep on because we desire our wealth very much. And it's uncomfortable, right, for your divine self to not be in perfect alignment with your wealth. And so as we've really been digging deep and unpacking all of this, we've found a lot of misbeliefs, a lot of misalignments, things that we have learned from probably previous lifetimes and in, this lifetime from our parents or just the world in general. And so we want to share those with you. But one, really major, I guess, trigger or upset that was coming up was a fear of abandonment in our finances because we weren't choosing ourselves there and we weren't choosing God there. We were holding on to fear and control. Yeah, do you want to share a little bit about everything that you were experiencing or everything, the insights that you identified of basically we were resisting our wealth and pushing it away because we were deeply afraid of it, afraid that, well, you can have it, but then it's just going to leave you, right? And I feel like you identified a really like profound belief. I wouldn't say profound because it's a belief of separation, but a good insight, right? Would you like to share that?
Well, I feel like I had several of those growing up, and I feel like with abundance we were hurt here, so it's kind of like really going into all those beliefs that we were growing up with. And for me it was, for instance, the one that stands out in terms of like fear. It's growing up we didn't have a lot, but when the paycheck came in, my parent would take me to a restaurant and then get very drunk, and meaning I would have to be the parent as a child. And that always gave me so much uncomfortability in knowing that this paycheck would arrive. Like I was like, well, I do enjoy food, I do enjoy that. It's nice to have food, but then it's like that splurging right after the paycheck comes in, and then all these like uncomfortable feelings and very much being trapped in that cycle because I knew it was coming every month, when that paycheck came in. So it came like a very uncomfortable place to, it brought up a lot of anxiety and fear and uncomfortability. And also some things like we would also wait for money all the time. we could never afford things. We had to wait till the paycheck came in, and my mom had me call the automatic bank service all the time right before, so I would know all her details by heart. Cause like, call again, see if it's here now, and it's always like this rush to get the money, and it's just a lot of it's painful living in poverty like that, and knowing that the rest of the month you'll be having little to nothing in the fridge. And it just brings up so many things. And also, I grew up with my family being angry at wealthy people. Oh, they should share, or they don't deserve all that riches. And I always felt like that was a bit odd, though, because I was thinking, well, didn't they work for that? Like, yeah, it was a bit weird for me thinking that. But yeah, these are the beliefs we grow up with, and how we see our parents, family, their relationship with money, with their relationships in general.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I experience, something very similar is basically money, as the world will tell you, or what we've probably all heard this is money is the root of all evil. And that was my experience as a child. It seemed like everyone, any authority figures that I was around, there was always a tension around money. It was always the root of the fights. And it was not a good time. And like Adam said, I experienced that too, where kind of like waiting for that paycheck to come in, because that provided some relief, but then it was quickly gone, to bills and whatnot. And then you'd be back to waiting on that paycheck again. And amidst that, there was fights and arguments and things going on. And so it was always, money was very anxious, caused a lot of anxiousness and fear, and there's not enough and it's going to go away. And so growing up, and where we're at now, we didn't realize it, right? We've been healing and unpacking through this, but we had carried all of that with us, all of that baggage, and basically pushing it away because, well, no, it causes fights, it causes anxiety, it makes you feel very uncomfortable. So why would we want that? And we weren't consciously thinking that, right? It was just these beliefs and misalignments that we held in our vibration. And so although on the surface we were like, why? Like, what is, we want our abundance, we choose and claim our wealth. But of course we had to keep going deeper, because there was these misbeliefs that were weighing our vibration down, that we were holding on to. And we were creating in our reality based off of what we were holding on to. And so with the mirror exercise, we've been identifying these things and really uprooting them, and choosing and claiming our abundance in all ways, and really like
Support.
Yes, support
Yeah.
has been a big, huge one. And also like choosing to have a harmonious relationship with God in our finances. And that in itself is a very healing choice. Yeah.
Yeah, and also right after we came into Harmonious Union, Jeff had shared with us we had made a vow of poverty at some point in time, probably during some other lifetimes. And so we've been working diligently to release that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So yeah, there's all these things where we, in our subconscious mind and what we bring with us as a soul as well, and the lessons that we have to uproot.
Exactly.
And that's what we have to go into them.
Right, right. Sorry, I got excited there. I'm like, yes. But yeah, just as Adam was saying, like, that vow of poverty, we've chosen, and you can too, choose and claim that vow of abundance, vow of wealth. And in that instant, the instant that you make that choice, everything automatically changes for you. And know that anything that's out of alignment with that choice and your vibration is going to come up for you to be healed through. And I guess I want to share a little experience. There's like feathers flying around here. Yeah. I want to share a little experience that I had, I guess, when we went to the grocery store the other day. It was well, I don't remember the details of it, but I know I had a lot of feelings because it was around finances. And so basically, in a nutshell, there was a pattern that I realized, that I was hoarding money so I could have the illusion that I had money. meanwhile, I had all of these holes in my reality and my financial foundation that I was avoiding because I thought, well, I'm just going to keep this stash right here. I'm going to look at this stash, and that way I can have the idea and the illusion that I have what I need and I have abundance. But meanwhile, places in my foundation were rotting, right? They were eroding. And so when I had that realization, I felt a lot of feelings come up, but I found immense relief as I invited God in, and I chose to really like claim responsibility for the patterns and the beliefs and what I had actually been doing all along, which was avoiding and not actually looking at what, there was a problem here. And when I did that, everything changed. And so we're feeling solid in our foundation, and we know that there's a lot of growth to be had, a massive amount of growth, but we can feel that we're on the up and up in that, which feels really good. And
Yeah, but we have to look at these places. It's so,
exactly.
even though it's so uncomfortable, because sometimes we don't even know it's there. We can feel something is there, but we're like kind of, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
yeah, I found a quote by Joseph Campbell, which I thought was really good in describing this. It says, "It is by going down into the abyss that we recover the treasures of life. Where you stumble, there lies your treasure. The very cave you're afraid to enter often turns out to be the source of what you're looking for." And I thought that was really good because you could feel like you're failing in an area, like you're stumbling. But that's actually, that turns out to be, the biggest treasure you're looking for. You have to go there.
Yeah.
And it's okay because it's not really a failure. It's a lesson to grow from. And but it would, just gotta have the courage to go there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as uncomfortable as it may seem to look at it, you immediately find immense relief in looking at it. Like you're going to have an emotion come up, and it's really just a feeling. That's all that you're really facing is a feeling. Nothing is going to hurt or harm you. It's just an emotion, and feelings and emotions are very normal. It is the ascension process is to feel your feelings. And like, you just said, is when you look at it and you actually shine a light in there, you're going to find that your gold is there. That's where your treasure is. And that's, how it happened for our harmonious twin flame union, and how it's happening for our wealth and abundance. We just had to shine a light. And so you too shine a light on those places that you feel that you may be avoiding, and really choose and claim responsibility for what it is that you're creating in your reality, and have compassion for yourself, because we're all evolving, we're all learning, we're all growing. And so you definitely don't want to be hard on yourself for whatever you find in your consciousness. It's just simply a misalignment with love, a misalignment with your divinity, and it's an opportunity to choose and claim your divinity and love yourself there.
This too shall pass.
It's true.
Yeah,
It's
it's just
true.
remembering that if you're going through one of them caves, there's going to be light on the other side. You're going to have that thing. It's impossible not to.
Yeah.
Because that's just a little roadblock you're facing. That's all it is.
Yes.
And that's just the next step.
Yeah. And I feel it's important to mention too, when you're choosing and claiming your harmonious twin flame union, or you're choosing and claiming your life purpose, your wealth and abundance, whatever it is in your life, there's been, because I thought this too, you might experience that you start having all these challenges and lessons and upsets coming up, and then you think, okay, wait, okay, I just chose this thing, and now my reality seems to be going, falling apart. Well, it's bringing up everything that was out of alignment with the choice that you just made. So it's the universe, it's God bringing you exactly what you want, but God has to show you where you're out of alignment with the things that you want. And so, no, you're not going backwards. You're actually like cleansing your vibration, your consciousness, so that you can have the thing that you want.
Yes, I remember before my cave of fear back in 2019 there, I kept saying, I choose to be ready for harmonious union. I choose to be ready for harmonious union, and
God delivered, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was quite the tour, the
Yes.
journey right there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but we got to remember in this, like, we're partnering with God. If you choose to, you're at that, cave of fear, and you're doing it with God, it's just reach out to God.
Mm.
And in the Bible, it's mentioned so many times, God will not abandon you.
Amen.
And I feel like for us, abandonment has been the biggest issue, and even is coming up in, with our abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be left behind?
Yeah.
Right? The abandonment there, and it's like God will never abandon you. We just got to choose to meet God and
Yeah.
choose to do the work that's
Exactly.
required. That's everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do a Bible verse. We can't go with that one.
Okay.
That's Isaiah 43:2. When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fires of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. I think that's just a good reminder. Even though there's difficulty, God is there. You will not drown.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always going to be okay if you're doing it with God.
Mm.
And it's just a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to feel the feeling and do the action steps required.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have the thing.
Yes.
And we'll come out on the other side.
Yeah.
Free of the
Amen.
cave. Yeah.
I would just the book keeps catching my eye, and I just wanted to say, we had a channeled message written by Jeff and Shaleia in our book, and the message is God is bountiful, and it's a very powerful and profound message. So I feel like, yeah, God wanted us to share that too. God is bountiful. Okay.
And that means we're bountiful.
It does, because we're one with God, and you are bountiful.
Yeah. Very good.
All
You
right.
got anything else?
I feel that's it. Yeah.
All right. So then we go to our closing prayer and closing ohms.
Closing prayer and closing ohms.
All right. Follow along in your heart or out loud. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and follow you without hesitation anywhere you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you're everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me the clarity in these teachings of union that I may be forever in union with you.
I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator.
Closing ohms. God bless.
Namaste.
Thank you so much for joining today's Sunday service. I hope you enjoyed that lovely sermon as much as I did. One thing that Adam and Brienne shared that I would like to emphasize is that as you are going through your own personal cave of fear, remember that it's just feelings, right? And that fear is not going to harm you. And it's okay to feel your feelings and to also have compassion for yourself as you go to those deep, dark places in your consciousness. Remember that it's just a feeling and that it's okay and that you're not alone. You have support. We're all here holding your hand. So yes, I just really love that sermon. It resonated so much with me, and I hope you got some really good, juicy takeaways from it. So I would like to encourage you to donate and tithe to the Church of Union. Your donations are what allow us to continue to share the teachings of Union across the world. I also want to remind you that you can find all past sermons here on YouTube or at unionism.org. There is where you can also donate and tithe and contribute to the Church of Union's message. I also want to encourage you to like and subscribe to the Church of Union YouTube channel. And then also make sure to come and join us for after church tea time. That is a live discussion on the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Facebook page, where a group of unionists will come together to share their insights and takeaways from today's Sunday service. So the party's not over. Come to the after party over on Facebook. So yes, thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next sermon. Bye.